So this is our bus that we're thinking about rescuing. All parked up here in the weeds.
A rough walk.
Our friends probably think we're crazy.
I'm not so sure that not. So he's in pretty good shape. He doesn't have much rust at all. Right now he's just a big yellow bus, but we're gonna look into changing that eventually. The driver's seat. It's all pretty much a normal bus right now. This just means a whole lot of demo.
Still got some pencils and pens in the floor like the kids just got off the bus.
Yeah.
So we just got the bus here. We had it towed here with a tow truck, but I went on and backed it up in this hole so we could start working on it. And I got wifey up in there sweeping a little bit. She's a little camera shy. It's a little bit of a tight fit getting it in here between my building and then our little pool area and my wood pile, which we plan on using this through the winter to put in the fire pit to keep us warm. So this is our bus, and this is day one of our rescue bus being home. So we're in here doing some cleaning and trying to fix the airlock on the door. Something a little screwy is going on with this thing. The doors will shut and close, but not all the way. They're not working quite right, so I'm going to have to tweak that thing. But here's a little bus. There's Dace and wifey.
Hello.
And this is going to be our big adventure. So we're pulling the seats out, and we come to find out it takes a 1/2 inch socket to take the bolts out. But unfortunately, there's a nut under the bus, which I'm going to have to crawl up under the bus and let Dace here back them off while I hold them still on the bottom. So I'm not going to film this whole process, but we're getting to the point we're going to pull all the seats out of the bus, and then we'll show you the finished product. Good morning, everybody. Well, didn't make much headway on the seat taken out yesterday. The issue of the nuts being under the bus, we took out some of the bolts that we could get to, but unfortunately some of them are above the fuel tank, which is practically impossible to get to because it's up underneath the frame rails, and some of them are actually in part of the box that holds the floor up to the edge of the bus. So the bolts, I'm gonna end up having to cut them off from up here, and I guess just let them drop down and see if I can dig them out so they don't rattle around and make a bunch of noise. But we've taken out some of the aisle seat bolts, as you can see here. So we started these, and then we got to like this one here, starts in above the fuel tank section. It was really hard to get to, and like I said, some of them are up inside of this U channel that's down in there, and then the other bolts are over here against the wall. They don't have legs on this side, it's just bolted onto a rail over here. So if you want to use them for like a bench or something later on outside, you'd have to weld some legs onto them. So today my goal is to get as many of these bolts out of here as possible, cut these things out, and then pull these seats out. Sorry about the horrible lighting. It is still early this morning. It's dark and foggy, so I'm gonna try to do what I can this morning, and I'll keep you all posted on the progress. So these are the nuts that were hard to reach because they're on top of the fuel tank. So went to the store and I got these handy dandy vice grips here. They've got this really long reach on them, and these things so far are working like a dream to get up into these tight places. So I would suggest, if you got this style of bus with these bolts that are stuck up in here where you can't really get to them, I get you a pair of them things. They work like a dream. So some of these bolts are really hard to get out. Like I said, you can't get to some of them from under the bus, so I done had to break out the grinder. And I'm gonna see if I can just cut this one off. So that seems right much faster, being able to get some of these bolts off that are inaccessible under the bus. But I've been able to pull out about 4 of the seats already, and still making some headway. And I also found out that the seat backs have a solid piece of stamped sheet metal on the back side of them. In here, on that back seat, I had to get to this bolt that was back in here in the corner, and I was gonna try to cut a hole in the seat to get to it, but instead I had to end up crawling up underneath of it and got to it like that. So we're super excited. We got all the seats out. 2 of us doing it. Me being underneath the bus, undoing all the nuts on the bottom, and then somebody being up on the top. We were able to get all of them out in about 2 hours. Some of the ones underneath the bus were really hard to get to, up in behind the airlines and frame rails and everything else, but we managed to get them all out. And now I got wifey in here, yay, sweeping the floors, and we're gonna get ready to pressure wash this thing out and start tearing out the floor and dismantling some more stuff. Good morning, everybody. So yesterday we got all the seats out of the bus, made a lot of progress. We also pressure washed the outside, got all the inside. We also pressure washed the inside and got it all cleaned up. So this morning I'm gonna plug up my little handy dandy electric leaf blower. We'll go through and get rid of some of this other water and start getting this thing a little dried out. It was kind of cool last night, so still got a lot of water left in here. I'm trying to get this thing dried out so it doesn't cause any kind of surface rust or anything. So hope y'all enjoy, hope you like us, and hopefully you learn something as you go. And if you're worried about getting into something like this, maybe this will ease your mind a little bit and you won't be too afraid to take the plunge.
rust.
Yeah. You don't have to get all that.
Oh, look.
Yeah, that's the way it was. We just have to replace those drills and stuff as we go through and check it out. So I went through and blew out mainly the any cracks and around the speakers and the lights. Trying to make sure we get that water out of the cracks mainly so it doesn't just sit in there and rust. The rest of it's on the surface, it's kind of air dried. But we knew we were going to end up taking some of this stuff out, but we wanted to get a good starting point. The bus was just nasty, it had bubble gum and stuff stuck everywhere. And we just figured it'd be worth it to start clean and not have your hands sticking in that mess. So we went through and washed it out, scrubbed it out, and just used some dish detergent, and it really seemed like it cut a lot of the dirt and grime, and even took a scraper and scraped some of the bubble gum off. So we're getting to the point where we're going to start pulling off some of these interior panels, and I'm going to have to pull off some of these ceiling panels. They've got a strobe light up on the roof because it was a school bus, and so I'm going to take that light off, and I'll have to patch the holes in the roof for that. So it's a lot of research and a lot of figuring out stuff kind of as you go along. And you know, this is our first time doing something like this. We never thought in a million years we would have a bus sitting in our driveway. So that was kind of something we come up with in the last couple months. Like, we started watching some YouTube videos, and shout out to Bussy McBusface, because they really kind of were doing some of this stuff kind of step by step, showing us some things that they done and how they did it and went through all the processes and all. So they've been a big help, and we really enjoyed watching them. And so we're hoping that we can add a little bit more to it if people are interested in doing something like this, to show you that it is possible. We basically rescued this bus. It was going into the scrapyard, and you know, didn't know for sure at first what we were going to get into with it. So I saw the bus sitting at the junkyard, and I was on my way to work, and it just showed up one morning, and I kind of got the idea of, well, we've kind of found our bus maybe. And so I happened to know the guy that owned the junkyard, so I called him up and talked to him about it, and he said sure, we could go look at it. We wanted to, so we went out and looked at it, and you know, we were kind of looking at the space we had to work with, and you know, how big the bus was and everything. And so anyway, made a call to him and asked what he was going to sell the bus for. And we've been pricing some buses online through different websites, and a lot of them were in different states. And I was like, well, the logistics behind that would be kind of hard, trying to drive it from another state, and you got to go to the DMV and get you know, trip permits. You can get 3-day passes, but then we have insurance, so you have to get the uninsured motorist, which is another fee. In Virginia, it's 1/12 the cost of the uninsured motorist fee, and I think that's a base price of like $500. But to get it for the bus for 30 days, you can actually get it insured through the uninsured motorist, and it's a fee of around $47, $48, and then you pay like a $15 fee. So it ended up being about $60, but we could have had it in basically uninsured motorist for 30 days and could have drove something home. But really didn't want a chance trying to drive something and then it break down on us or something on the way home, because you don't really know what you're getting into with some of these buses. So we decided to get this one. We found some online, and they ranged anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000 depending on the year and the make of the bus and everything. And we ended up, when we found this one, he said he wanted $2,500 for it. So I was like, oh, $2,500, that's cheap. And then, so the next question is, well, does it run? And he said, well, it ran when I parked it. And that's kind of a famous statement that everybody has over vehicles. It ran when they parked it. So the key was actually laid in the dash when we came up, and he said, well, we could go on and start it if we wanted to, make sure it run. Well, the batteries were dead. So we brought the batteries home, pulled the batteries. There was two 950 cold cranking amp batteries in it. We pulled both batteries out, brought them home, put them on the charger, charged them overnight, both of them, got them charged up. We went back the next day, put them in the bus. That bus still wouldn't turn over. It was wanting to turn over, but it was like the batteries were still weak. So contacted the guy again, and he said, well, I've got some truck batteries I can, you know, give you or whatever. So give me 2 batteries. Super nice guy, great guy to work with. Give me 2,000 cold cranking amp batteries, and he actually had them charged up for me. And so we put those in, and then immediately fired right up. And it was no hesitation. You wouldn't even thought it'd been parked for 3 or 4 months. So we were really excited about that. You know, as we got to hear it run and got to start it up. The one thing with this bus, it is a 2006 Freightliner Thomas built bus, and it's got a Caterpillar C7 engine, which has a Huey pump on it. Now the Huey pump makes the injectors work. Now I'm not no diesel mechanic, and I'm not going to try to go through all the scientifics behind all that stuff, but the Huey pump basically pumps engine oil through the injectors to make the injectors work, to shoot the fuel, actual diesel, into the cylinders to make it ignite and make cylinders work. So we had seen online there was an issue people were having with these Huey pumps, putting in metal shavings or oil was dirty, and it would clog the injectors and stop the injectors from working. So within doing a little bit of research to that, I reached out to our local school bus lot where this bus had come from. It was actually my old high school. So talked to the guy that's over the bus shop, and he said they were having problems with the top end of the bus, and that you know, we just kind of assumed, hopefully it's nothing any more major than that, which I'm sure you'll find out for long. Hopefully it's just a Huey pump issue. So we found by watching YouTube, we found a guy on there that was talking about this inline filtration system for the Huey pump. And basically it's a high pressure system, so it's got to be rated for at least what I've read is 3,600 psi, because it's basically a hydraulic pump. But it does pump the engine oil, which that engine oil I don't think is specifically made for this. I think Caterpillar done away with the whole this system in, I think, 2007. So anyway, we found the guy. He's got this inline filtration system. The filtration system is $980. It comes with your hoses and a big inline filter. It's a big cast iron filter system, and it's got the filter inside of it, and it's supposed to protect the oil from the Huey pump going back into the engine. So we're hoping that we can get that on at some point, which that's, you know, almost $1,000 fix. So when I was kind of negotiating the price of the bus, I got it for $2,000. So I kind of argued a little bit down for the fact that I was going to spend $1,000 in this Huey pump system. But we still would only be $3,000 in on a 2006 bus, which was in pretty much immaculate condition. The paint on the outside is perfect. It's got a couple little dents at the bumper, which I think I can pull out and fix and be nice enough. So that's a little bit of a backstory into how we got started on this. And we're going to try to continue this adventure, and hopefully you like what you're seeing, and it helps y'all out a lot. And you'll probably hear me say that a lot, because my main goal here is to try to be informative. And because I'm just your average guy, my wife, you know, we just are normal people. It's not like we have any specialties in anything. I'm a heck of a carpenter. I can build just about anything. But when it comes to mechanics on a vehicle, you know, not so much. I'm kind of learning along the way, and I'm learning to, you know, research and find help and get help when it's needed. And a lot of this stuff we're probably going to take to our local truck shop to get any work, kind of major work done. But I've done some welding, but this is going to be like a different beast for me. So we'll be learning a little bit about welding and that sort of thing. And so hopefully y'all enjoy it, and you get to watch us make mistakes and hopefully have fun doing it and getting our bus the way we like it, and hopefully y'all will like it too. So thank y'all. Have an awesome day.